also going to be making some chili to go with the tamales that we're making. And this recipe is from my stepfather, Rocky. He made it up and it has been really good and we've liked it for many years. And hopefully someday he's going to be serving it in his restaurant. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to dice up 2 large onions. And we're just going to cut the ends off of these. Oops, and give them a quick peel. And you can dice your onions any way you feel the most comfortable. The way I typically do it is I get the outside edges off, then I cut them into slices like this. And like I've said previously, cut to your knife skill level. Then I will take these and turn them up on their side and slice them that way. And that gives me a pretty good sized chop on these guys, because we don't want them to be too big, because we're going to take these and get them where they're extremely sauteed. We're going to saute them actually. The meat for our chili that we're using is going to be one that we grind up ourselves. Now normally I would buy 4 pounds of chili meat. However, the grocery store that we used did not have chili meat today. So we bought a beef roast, and what we're going to do is put it in the grinder here, and then we're going to use a thick grind on this one, and that will give us some fresh ground chili meat, which normally I don't grind my own meat, but I really didn't have a choice. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this up, this roast, into sizes that we can go ahead and put through the grinder. And just about 2 inch by 2 inches good. We have our meat cut up into pretty good sized pieces, just enough to go down into the grinder chute. We have a bowl here to catch it. We have our meat grinder attachment for our mixer, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. It's going to be a little bit noisy, and we're going to, first we got to put some in there, and it comes with a little thing to poke it down with, and it's starting to come out. We've just finished grinding our meat, and it's a pretty good grind. I mean, chili meat is usually a little bigger than this, but if I'm going to make it, whenever I do make the chili, I usually use 2 pounds of ground and 2 pounds of the chili meat. But since we're not able to do that, just this thick ground will do just fine. And this is going to be perfect. So we're going to go ahead and get the pan ready, and we're going to start sauteing our onions and getting the meat in there. Alright, we're ready to start cooking the ingredients for our chili. The first thing we're going to do is heat up a pan. This one is nice and hot. We're going to add about 2 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil, or whatever type of oil you like. And to that we're going to add our 2 large onions that we have chopped. To that we're going to add 4 large cloves of garlic. We're going to crush them right into this. We have our 4 cloves of garlic that we have crushed in with this, and we are going to just saute these until they are translucent. Our onions are looking pretty good. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the onions and the garlic that we just cooked and put it here in a bowl to the side. We'll put these off to the side. Then back to this same pot, we're going to add a little more oil. And we're going to turn the heat up to probably medium-high. We were on medium with the onions and the garlic. And we're going to go ahead and start putting our meat in there. And we're going to brown all this together. And it looks like a lot, and it is, but we're going to go ahead and brown this together. And once it's brown, we will be back. Our ground beef has pretty much browned very nicely. We're going to add back the onions and the garlic that we did earlier. And get it stirred up a little bit. We are going to add 2 cans, or a total of about 28 ounces of diced tomatoes. You can also buy just stewed tomatoes and cut them up yourself. It's up to you. Or if you stew your own tomatoes, that's perfectly fine. And we did not drain the ground beef either. We're also going to add our seasoning, which I pre-mixed. 2 tablespoons of oregano, about a half a cup of flour, a third a cup of chili powder. We're using the one that we made earlier. 2 tablespoons of cumin, about 2 teaspoons of salt, and a tablespoon of cayenne pepper. We're mixing that in really good, and it's going to look a little dry at first. Our heat is on medium. Once this is stirred through, we're going to put a cover on this, and as soon as it comes up to a slow boil, we're going to put it on low, and it's going to simmer for about an hour and a half. Alright, our chili's been cooking for about an hour and a half, and it's certainly getting there. I've added probably a total of 2 cups of water to it as we've gone along. Actually, I didn't use water. I used broth from some tamales that we were making, and it's getting quite a bit thicker. Whenever it's time for us to actually use it, if it hasn't thickened up enough, I'll make some cornstarch mixture and put in there, and that'll thicken it up. So we just have about 30 minutes to go, and then we'll see how it tastes and how it looks. Well, our chili is done, and we have it here, and it is nice. It's thick and really good looking, and also the texture is really nice. We added probably a total of 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to it to make it just the right consistency. So, that's pretty hot, but it tastes really good. It tastes better than the stuff that you get in the can.